So just a heads up, I'm about to glaze this game for a few minutes, and rightfully so. I wanted to talk about Shinobi Art of Vengeance a bit because it's fucking dope for one, but also it's very much a gamer's game, you know? One conversation I see going around at least once every other week is about how modern gaming is cooked and things pretty much peaked back in the 2000s, and believe me, I understand the sentiment to a degree. But I can't help but notice that games like this that check all the boxes for what people claim they miss about older titles are conveniently left out of those conversations. It's disingenuous in my opinion and comes off as people intentionally putting blinders on so that they can strengthen their arguments. Confirmation bias at its finest. Well, I ain't letting this one go under the radar. I've spent this past Labor Day weekend completing this game and now I'm ready to spread the gospel. I'm not giving a review per se or breaking down the plot or anything, but more so rambling on why I think this game is just fucking cool. Something that I will say in support of the arguments against modern gaming is that it's become customary for me over the years to prep myself for lengthy cinematics, to drag my hollow skull to YouTube so I can watch hours upon hours of franchise lore to explain said cinematics, and also feeling the need to free up tons of console space so that I can add another 70 to 100 plus gigabyte game in hopes that it will, not be underwhelming once it's all said and done. And many times it has been. This is why the new Shinobi is a breath of fresh air. It serves as a reminder that I just really need my games to be fucking fun and not much else. Now, while there's obviously a plot here, the game very much just wants you to go. And this is evidenced by the fact that Joe literally doesn't talk and yet everybody gets the picture, and I appreciate that. Joe is like the player, we know shit went down and we're just ready to right the ship. Give me some dialogue exchanges here and there and it's back to foot-assing everyone and everything that moves. And again, the game just wants you to go. You're given many tools on the way to becoming an absolute unit, and the combo counter only ends after you've taken damage, so you can literally go a full minute without encountering an enemy, and as long as you haven't been hurt, you can still keep that combo going. You also get access to various amulets and things that grant you different buffs and bonuses on meeting an active combo count criteria. Between all of this and your ninpo abilities and the ninjutsu you gain access to by way of a rage meter, you'll be beating the absolute dog shit out of enemies. If you've played Streets of Rage 4, another game that I love dearly, then you know the guys at Lizard Cube know how to deliver a fluid and functional combo system that is very gratuitous in the ways in which it allows you to beat your enemy skulls into dust. Some of the shit I was doing here had me thinking that the Kekkei Genkai for the Oboro clan was pure and unfiltered Black Air Force energy. I won't get into all the combat moves that you acquire throughout your playthrough, but just know that beating up bad guys beyond death will be pure catharsis. Especially once you get your hands on the more annoying guys like those flying assholes or the jerks that like to parry you. But with that being said, this game can still be quite challenging. Your enemies have a multitude of ways to level the playing field. For instance, there's going to be a lot of enemies who have armor and enemies who spam these dark energy attacks which basically can't be dodged or interrupted, and the further you get in the game, the more they start to hit you with these guys. It got to a point where it was like I was fighting those guys more than I was fighting regular mooks. Now, if you're a completionist like me, then you'll encounter many different challenges while backtracking through different stages, and within each major stage there are hidden rifts which take you to a different dimension altogether for some of the most challenging platforming and hazard-filled zones in the entire game. It's rewarding for sure, but you're likely to spend most of these holding your breath and clenching your cheeks, but of course most difficult things in this game are pretty much optional. If you're just in it to get from point A to point B and seeing the credits roll, then that's fine too. You're still likely to get about 10 to 15 hours of gameplay here. But like I said, this game is for everyone. You can be a guy like me who relentlessly hunts for secrets and jumps into bottomless pits just in case something's there, or you can beeline straight for the final boss. But with that said, I do have to be honest, I didn't love absolutely everything about the game, so let's get into that real quick. Now, I haven't gone online to see how common an issue this was, but my map simply didn't function properly most times. It either wouldn't show my location at all, or it would have me way beyond the level boundaries, and this made backtracking more complicated than it should have been. Also, even though I loved most of the boss fights in this game, I absolutely did not like the Mandara fight. And I get it, it's a callback to the original game, but I still thought it was pretty tedious for a game that's basically balls to the wall with everything else. I mean, during my first playthrough, I got annoyed trying to figure out when it was actually safe to attack him, since the floor would periodically become hazardous as he'd zip up and down the wall. And I mean, there's another boss fight in the game where the boss is just kind of stuck to one side of the screen, and I found that one to be a lot more engaging. It was particularly the Mandara fight that I felt was pretty much a massive roadblock in the momentum. So I didn't really care for that fight, and that's just me. I know a lot of y'all probably love seeing him return to the game, and I get it. But you know, there are actually a lot of moments in this game that require patience. At times, you know, checkpoints are extremely generous, and at other times they're unforgiving. And in the worst cases, you might find yourself in a section where you're liable to be one-shot by a litany of hazards. You might be relying on a slow-moving platform or object to safely traverse the section, only to be met with something that you weren't prepared for. That's fine, you know, no biggie. But then having to go all the way back and then wait on some slow-moving platform again in order to make another attempt can definitely get aggravating. The good news is that I didn't encounter anything like that wasn't optional. I didn't really have issues beyond those things that I mentioned either. I felt that the challenge was fair overall, and I know there are a lot of people who say that games not having lives or continues mitigates the challenge by proxy of not having to see the title screen every time you fuck up. And while that argument makes sense, I kinda disagree. I mean, having to restart a game entirely didn't make the game harder. It just made the shit tedious by padding out the runtime, which was the priority of many games in the quarter munching era. I mean, at the end of the day, all you really need is just good level design, good and challenging level design. Because I died plenty of times during my initial playthrough, and most of it was just due to the trial and error process. I mean, sure, there was some dickish enemy placement and obstacles here and there, but that's par for the course with these kinds of games. But about halfway through my playthrough, I knew that I'd have to make a video about Art of Vengeance because it very much reminded me of why I fell in love with gaming to begin with. Aside from all the things I mentioned earlier, in addition to the soundtrack, the amazing art style, the Easter eggs, the unlockable outfits, the stage replay value, the extra modes, the hidden boss that I won't spoil, this game successfully put me in the headspace that I was in as a large-scale child playing Revenge of Shinobi among other things on my Sega. The sense of wonder that came with exploring each stage and looking for hidden items, wondering what the theme of the next stage will be or what boss you'll be met with. You know, there are so many games that come out these days that straight up pander to 90s nostalgia, and there are so many spiritual successors, reboots, pixel art games, and all that stuff is cool, don't get me wrong, but not often is it to the point where I'm actually immersed in them the same way that I would have been immersed in its 90s counterpart because, you know, certain vibes can't be replicated. It's really hard to explain, but if you know, you know. And I can safely say that this is how you properly breathe life into a dormant franchise, and I encourage all of you to give it a try if you haven't already. It's like $30, and I mean for $30 I got my second favorite gaming experience of this year so far. And of course there's the DLC to look forward to as well. You know, there's some Sega classic bosses coming, so we know Dr. Eggman is one of them, and two more that haven't been revealed yet, so a lot of people are speculating who that may be. I don't know, we may be seeing somebody from Shenmue since, you know, we've got a cameo appearance in the fish market stage, but, you know, I don't know, we haven't seen anything yet, or at least I haven't. But anyway, I'm done rambling for now. Thanks for sitting here listening to me yap about this game. I'm looking forward to doing a lot more gaming content. I might actually start posting playthroughs, and let me know if you want a video for Lost Soul Aside, possibly Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. And with that said, I'm out.